Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. I'm really excited to be recording an episode for you via video. So last week, tried the whole YouTube thing, and to be quite honest, the camera, it did not work at all. So trying to figure that part out is kind of challenging because for some reason, I feel like the camera is only letting me basically record like 6 minutes, which could be ideal for some episodes, don't get me wrong. But that was a 30-minute episode, and 6 minutes in, I was like, are you kidding me? So instead of redoing a whole episode with really good audio content and pieces, I just decided to kind of scratch the video thing, took the 6-minute bites, and I'm working now with my laptop, which I feel like will work really well. I think this is what a lot of people actually do anyway, but I would like to get like a really nice camera so that you guys can watch me on the green couch where I record. I think that is such a fun bit of everything I'm doing. But I hope beyond that you guys have had just such a great week. I'm really thankful for everybody that has tuned in and downloaded last week's happy hour episode. I am so close to hitting another mile mark, which is crazy. So I'm really excited to just keep grinding out and getting episodes to you all. This week, it's just me. It's a solo episode, but I'm definitely hoping to maybe get my dad on here next week. That would probably be an audio episode. Not sure if he wants to be on camera, and I won't have the green couch, which is always a really fun part of, like, actually filming, I swear. Like, right now I'm just looking at the sign, which is another fun part. I love that part, too, but the green couch is definitely something that's a lot more fun to use. So that'll be exciting. I think that my dad has really good life insight and advice, and he's hilarious. So I'm really hoping he agrees to it. I'm sure he will, but I'll definitely have to bring my microphone. I'm going to Arizona this weekend to meet him for the preseason game. So somewhere along the lines, I'll definitely slide in that I have my mic and I'm ready to record. As always, so I'll have him prepare some questions for me, and I swear I already have so many questions for him to basically ask just so that you guys can hear the answers. I definitely feel like I already know the answers to basically everything that he would say, but I do think that would be super fun. For this week, I do want to talk a little bit about a topic that I feel kind of gets brushed under the rug for basically everyone because it's hard to talk about, and it's just about feeling lost. I think at this age, and I think at any age, I realize too that we constantly are in this battle with ourselves, with our lives, with our career paths, and we feel lost, like in all of these aspects of our lives. I think right now, being in your 20-somethings, that lost feeling comes with, leaving your home, and it comes with finding a passion that you want to work towards for the rest of your life. And so for me, I have personally felt lost post-grad, and I think I've talked about that kind of a lot, but I don't think that feeling necessarily goes away. And I think for a lot of the time, I was really working towards letting go of that feeling, trying to get rid of it, trying to do anything that I can to make sure I don't feel that way anymore. And I'm starting to realize, which I hope is a good realization at least, that feeling lost, it's not always about trying to find your way. It's more about being comfortable being lost, being comfortable being in the unknown and having nothing figured out. And I think I was so uncomfortable with just being lost. It sounds kind of weird and creepy and not really stable. And now I'm kind of like, okay, it's fun being lost because I really get to take time to figure myself out and figure out what I want to do. I think some people have a lot of parts of their lives figured out. Some people jump into a really stable career right away. And I think that is so awesome. And I condemn them for really knowing what they want to go for. And for me, and maybe for some of you, I honestly have no idea every time it changes. Like I love this podcast so much, but I also love so many other things, which makes being lost kind of difficult. I know I mentioned this in last week's episode, but I really, really cannot stop thinking about it. That kind of tree analogy where you can kind of take any branch. And it's so true. Like every day I'm like, all these components of my life and all these steps that I've taken are just like literally little, like, I guess little branches off of one larger branch. And you can go so many routes. And I think for me, it's like my first route kind of into this big jump obviously was where I lived and where I grew up in Tinley Park. And then it was in Kentucky. and now it's in California, and who knows where else it will be. I think for a long time, I thought that that next step for me was going to be it. Like, I'm done being lost. I'm really going to stabilize where I am. I'm going to find my groundwork, and I'm going to plant my roots. But I think we all, like, the minute that we decide to plant our roots, we want to go somewhere else. I mean, I think about people who are even retiring. They plant their roots for a little bit, and then they leave, and they go somewhere else too. So I think your life is a constant battle of being lost and evolving and changing, and that's totally okay. Um, on the career side of things, that's also the same. People are in their 30s and 40s deciding that this is not what they want to do for the rest of their lives, and I think that's hard. It's so brave to literally give up on a career path to go for your passions, but I like condemn it. I'm all for it, and I think that the sooner you figure out and the sooner you navigate being comfortable with being lost in your life, I think the better things turn out for you. You have better outcomes. And for me right now, I'm learning to be comfortable with having really no idea exactly what I want to do, or really no idea, what's going to give me that fulfilled feeling. And I think for me personally, I don't think I'll ever be fulfilled, to be quite honest. I'm kind of always wanting to do so many things and get my hands deep into so many things. I'm like fulfilled with those little things, but like I will always be reaching for more and more, and I've learned to accept that about myself. I'm just kind of a hustler and a go-getter, and I'm like, this is not it for me. Like, I'm going to keep going as much as I can. But just getting comfortable with being lost, I'm, figuring out more about myself that comes along the way. I'm figuring out that if I'm comfortable with being lost, I'm also comfortable with learning to figure out more things about myself that I don't know and what I'm good at. In college, I studied broadcast journalism. I knew that I loved broadcasting and that if I worked towards it, I could be good at it. But there's also things that I do that I think that I'm pretty good at. I have no experience. I love photography. I've never really taken anything deep into that. I've taken an acting class. I absolutely love that. And so to find so many different passions you love by being comfortable, being in that kind of lost kind of feeling and in that moment, I think that that's so special. And I think the more that we admit to ourselves that, like, hey, yeah, we're lost and it's hilarious, I think the better our outcomes become. Like, just figuring out everything else that we want to be a part of and everything else that we want to get our hands deep into. So that was what I wanted to kind of like touch on this week. And I guess I'm still figuring it out. So it's still a little difficult for me to even like really wrap my head around. But I think the more that we look at, I guess, just lost in general as a destination that we're trying to not have anymore and more as something that we're living with, I think that we can really grow as people. And for me, I'm going to do a couple of things, and you should too. In my lost periods, I've been literally just doing tons of different castings, applying to everything, because you never really know what you're going to like, especially on, like, I guess the acting kind of side goes. There's a lot of realms there too. I recently just did a photo shoot, which is way beyond my comfortability, and it was in a bathing suit, so that's even more beyond my comfortability. But I did it because I, got out of this like realm of feeling like I was lost, and I felt like this is my destination to get out of it, and I went that way, and that gave me some satisfaction for a little bit, and now I'm like, oh crap, I'm lost again, and that's okay. And I think that just that little feeling of still feeling lost every time I sort of do something, it's just reassurance that I haven't found the one thing that maybe I'm meant for quite yet. So all these things have just kind of been boggling my mind, but I am really excited for the next weeks and the following weeks to come. I'll definitely touch on being lost a lot more, especially when I have more interviews and stuff. This week I just really wanted to like practice getting on camera, which is funny, like looking at it, also talking in the mic, and also like trying to pace my voice slowly. Like I don't even know what to say. I'm like laughing, looking at myself. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Today I'm going to go do a workout. I'm going to do boxing, which is hilarious. So I'm so lost that I'm literally going to try a boxing class. Me. So try everything you can. Do everything that you possibly ever could imagine wanting to do. And I promise it'll all be worth it. Thank you guys so much for listening and maybe watching for the first time. And I apologize for you not being able to watch last week. And I will be doing a questionnaire on my IG stories so you guys can kind of give me some episode ideas and things like that. Like I said, this week, I'm really playing around with the video. I'm really talking about being lost because, oh my gosh, I'm so lost. But we're lost together, so it's so fun. Have a great rest of your week. I love you guys. Thanks.